Hello everybody, welcome to this wonderful reading. I'm Zodiac, welcome. This is going to be a project by about how it is. This is going to be for July of 22nd to July 26th, I believe. So this is going to be a reading for that. This will be a Monday reading. I hope that you enjoy this because this is how it seems to be. Knowing that this is a wonderful feeling, you have to know how it is, your strengths, your weaknesses, your emotions, whatever it is. And you have to provide about how it is, right? And this is just how it seems to be. This is just a general reading, whatever it is, and whatever comes out, right? And you have to acknowledge about how it seems to be. Acknowledging is a wonderful process in order to identify how it is, right? Because you're creating something new. You're debating how it is, right? Because you see it as a wonderful thing, And it's the way of how it goes in one way or another, right? Because this is how it seems to be, right? So you have to believe about how things are. In order to do it, you have to understand how it is, right? Because this is just a general reading, and this is how it is. So I know that if you have subscribed, you know how it is. If you don't know how to subscribe, you know how you're going to be. Click that notification bell, you know how it is, and I'll give you all the information and everything else. It will be down below the description box down below, and this is how it's seen. Okay. So further ado, I'll take a sip. And we're going to look at the oracle cards. Let's see. First one is doubt. I'll release the need to know all the answers. Having doubt is basically how it is, because you have to know what it is. It's basically how it is, right? And you have to know about all the answers to understand, right? Next one is freedom. I possess the power and the free will to create my own happiness. Yes, because you are basically having freedom, because it's like you're getting out of that jail card. You know what I mean? So it's like this is how it seems to be. This is just how it goes, but in moderation is the way of how it is, and understand that, right? Because you have to gravitate that situation. And last but not least is death. I'm learning that endings are merely beginnings. That's how it is, right? Because it's the way of how it seems to be. And there's always a good saying that is that there's one door closes, another one opens, right? And this is how it seems to be. So you understand this, but it's the way of how it goes. Okay. So we're going to look at those. That's how it is. And I'll get towards the readings. We're going to look at the past, the present, and the future. This is what it seems to be. So I know that this is just a wonderful feeling, but in the way of how it goes, this is how it seems to be. So let's get started. Alright, so basically how it is, you have the Nine Cups is reversed, but you have the Death card that is there's endings, right? And the Nine of Swords is upright, so you could be dealing with another Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. But this is how it seems to be. And the Death card does represent Scorpio, so you could be representing that way of how it goes. Because you have endings that are merely beginnings in one way or another. It's the way of how it goes, right? It's like a good way to know about it, but in theory, this is how it is, right? Theoretical of how it goes, because one way or another, this is just like how it is in one way or another. Okay. So I'm going to clarify some of it. So I'm going to clarify. The page of wands reversed because there's no invention. Obviously, there's no invention yet, but it's just how it seems to be. Okay. So let's see. 10 Pentacles upright because there's wealth. Yeah, because this is how it is, right? Because you have that way of going what to do, but in order to do it, this is how it seems to be. And yeah, the Eight of Swords is upright because there's anxiety. Yeah, because someone's like getting hurt here about having wealth. They are feeling hurt because they have wealth and they don't know what to do, and things are going sideways, whatever. But you know, you have to remember that this is just how it seems to be. It's the way of how it goes. It's the way of how the outcome is. Because in theory, this is how it seems to be. So I'm terrified. The Seven of Swords reversed is because there's deceit. Yeah, there's no deceit, but in one way or another, it's like you're not deceiving anybody. But in one way or another, it's like this is how it is. It's the way of how it goes, right? Because you know, it's the way of knowing what to do, right? And this is how it seems to be. So I know that this is just a wonderful feeling about it. The flow is upright because there's change. Yeah, because there's going to be change in, you know, in the way of how it goes. And this is how it seems to be. Because in that note, you have the way of how it goes. Everything is going to change in a split second. Like, you're going to change your anxiety. You're going to change your wealth. Maybe you have the wealth, but you're going to change your anxiety. Maybe you're going to think that you're going to feel like how everything is, right? Because everything has to be all what you do, right? So you look at this and you think, okay, well, everything's fine. Not necessarily, because in one way or another, everything kind of changes like a split second. You know, it's the way of how it goes. So let's see. The Hangman reverse because there's no stillness. Like, there's, you know, there is like no restrictions. There's nothing. But you're being like how everything is, and you have to know what is. Ten of Swords reverse because there's no conclusions. Obviously, there are no conclusions yet, but in the way of how it goes, everything has to be all, you know, balancing, right? It's like a balancing act, but in one way or another, how it is. Let's see. The Judge reverse, yeah, because you're not telling the truth, you're lying. You know, you're lying because you don't have any money. Maybe that could be the result of that. I don't know. But this is what it seems to be. You have to change your own ways to understand that. And the Two of Swords reverse is good because there's no crossroads, right? Because you already know exactly what direction you're going to take. And it's, you know, this is how it is, right? In theory, this is the way how it goes. It's the way of knowing what to do, but in order to do that, you have to face your own fears, right? Face that way of knowing what to do, because this is what it is, right? Because you have to know that it's a wonderful acting curve, but in one way or another, you have to look at it, right? Because you think that everything's fine. See? The Sun reverse, yeah, because there's no positivity. No, because you're in a negative situation, right? And the Empress upright because there's nourishment. Yeah, because you know, it's the way of how it goes in one way or another, because you're trying to acknowledge that, you're trying to acknowledge how things are, you're trying to figure out who's who, you know, it's the way of how it goes. You have to do this as it seems to be, you know. This is the way of how it goes in one way or another, right? Everything can be flipping, right? So let me see if I can clarify any of the cards that I'm going to show you. Let's see. So I'm going to clarify again. I'm going to clarify as much as I can. In theory, this is just the way it goes. Because I'm going to clarify this card. I'm going to clarify this card. So this one is the Eight of Pentacles upright, yeah, right? Because you know that you have that ability to know about this, so you could be dealing with another Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. The Five of Wands reversed. Oh wow, because you're not heading into chaos yet. Four of Swords reversed because you're not resting. No, you're not. Right? Because you're being who you are in order to do that, because this is how it is. It's the the way of how you can do it as long as it needs to. So I'm going to clarify. Yeah, the Four of Wands is upright. Yeah, because you could be maybe getting married, maybe you have what things are, maybe that's how it is, like going to a wedding, or maybe where you're trying to not get, maybe you're married because you're going to have wealth. Maybe you're having anxiety because you're going to change your anxiety because you're having wealth. Maybe everyone's going to give you gifts. You can't want to, because you could be dealing with another Leo. So, this is a good reading so far. But in order to do it, you have to satisfy your own ways, right? Because it's the way of how it goes. So let's see. Is there anything else? Let's see. The Six of Wands reverse. Interesting. Two Pentacles reverse because you're already balancing. Like maybe you're not balancing, but maybe in theory you're not. Seven Pentacles, Ten of Cups reverse. Okay. So I know that which direction it's going to take, left or right. Okay. Let me clarify. Clarify again. I'm going to clarify. So who is doing this? Who is doing this in this reading? Okay, so you have the Six of Earth is give some money, time or effort, new career opportunities, receiving a loan or paying off debts. Okay, that could be interesting, right? Because that's how it is, right? So you could be dealing with another Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. Another one is Two of Water. Relationship that continues to grow closer. Forgiveness, positive resolution of a conflict. That could be it, right? Because you could be dealing with another Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. And this one is the Five of Earth, is fear surrounding money, the wisdom to accept help from others, uncertain self-employment. Yeah, that's how it is, right? So you could be dealing with another Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. So there's a lot of earth energy, there's lots of water energy in this situation. So we know that this is how it seems to be. This is just the way of how terrifying it is. So I know how it is. Let me see what's the bottom cards are. Yeah, there's no fulfillment of the Nine of Cups. No. I'll put it here anyway. It says the Seven of Cups are very good because there's no delusion. No. But yeah, the Strength card is bravery. Yeah, is that right? Yeah. So you could be dealing with another Leo, right? The Ace of Wands reverse because there's no new beginnings. Never know. Eight of Cups is upright because there's introspection. Yeah. Three of Wands is upright because there's communication. Obviously there is, right? And at the bottom, you have the Two of Pentacles reversed because there's no balance. Yeah, see? Oh, yes, Five of Cups are very good because there's no grief. Not at the moment. Not at the moment. But the Knight of Wands is upright because you're being immature. You're being like you're acting like there's immaturity, right? Because there is a way, there's a cause of this, and you think that everything's fine, but then you're thinking, oh my God, I messed up, or I did something and I should be doing, because you have to look at the death card, because there's endings, there's there's the way of how it goes. You have the freedom, right? Because you're going to have that bravery. And then you have the doubt, because you're going to look for the answers when you are communicating. This is the way of how it goes. This is just how it is, because one way or another, everything has to be, gone, like into that way of how it goes. This is just not going to be like accumulation of how it goes. It's like me wearing a hat like this with a tube. Like, I'm not being like accumulated about it. I'm just acting all different. That's how it seems to be, Acting different is a wonderful feeling, because you're being looked at by differently, right? And it's the way of how it goes, because the reading that I'm doing is different. It's the way of how it seems to be. Because in that way, it's the way of how it seems to be. And when you know that, it's the way of how it goes. You have to use your creativity to know what's going on. So I can see this is a wonderful feeling, but the way of how it goes is the way of how it seems to be. Because you have to have that, own way of how it goes. So I'm just going to read you one of the oracle cards. Let's see. The Sacred Union. So there's partnership and romance. That could be it, right? Because you're going to have that way of knowing what to do, because there's partnerships, there's romance. That could be it. And secondly is the Well Watcher, wisdom, power of the divine. Yeah, right? Because you have that way of using your wisdom, right? Because everything changes, right? Because you have to look at the positive, not the negative. Whenever you look at the negative, everything is not good, like it's not going your way, right? And last but not least, the High Lord of Gratitude and Service, selflessness, humility, conscious action. Interesting, right? So you have that ability to understand that, because you're trying to use your communication skills. You have to know from your ins and outs, right? It's the way of how it goes. At the bottom of this situation, so you have the Seven of Waters upright. You have the five. You have the Ace of Fires upright, and one more. You have the King of Earth is upright. Yeah. So you have the ability to know what's going on, because in theory, this is just a general reading, and I hope that this reading helps you. So I know that this is just a fine way. It's the way of how it goes, and this is just like how it seems to be. It's a pressure point, and what that means is that when you have a pressure point, you know what it is. It's the way of how it goes. So I hope that this reading helps you, and I know how it is, and this is what it seems to be, and I know that this is just the way it goes. So I hope you understand, because this is just a general reading, and I hope that this helps you, and you have to provide your own way, your own way of having skills and all that, right? So you have to believe that you can do it. Try to stay positive as much as you can in order to do it. In order to, how it is, how it seems to be, what not, what have you, and this is how it goes, because you're trying to see about who, what, where, when, why. Sometimes no in that situation. And this is the way of how it goes. So before I let you all go, pay attention to understand that. Pay attention to how it is, how you're going to do this wonderful feeling, and how it goes. So I hope that this reading will help you to this as much as this is, and this is how it seems to be. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful time. I'll see you next time. So thank you so much. Have a good day to all, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye for now. Really, have a good day. Thank you. Bye.